Mga kapatid, mga magigiting na anak ng bayan. Ang inyong pagparito ay pagpapakita na hindi kayo nasisindak sa napipintong panganib.
Andres Bonifacio, Maso, taga Maynila, anak ng Tondo.
Este es el ejemplo. ¿Qué va a pasar?
Mula na magkaroon ng pag-aalsa sa Cavite, naging lubhang mapaghinala na ang mga Kastila.
Kagingay, dagilang ipapataw ang kaparusahang kamatayan sa garote.
Ang digmahang ito ang maglilikha ng walang tilang pagluha ng ating mga asawa.
Animal, may araw din kayo.
Lubos na mapanganib para sa dinadala mo ang magiging tani.
Supremo, oras na po ng pagpupulong.
Hindi sumusuko ang ating mga kapananib. Ang tagumpay sa Cavite ay pagpapakita na kaya natin lupigin ang puwersa ng Espanya. Ang digmaang ito magdadala sa atin sa mahabang parang ng paghihingalo. Punitin para sa kalayaan! Punitin! Punitin!
I choose Balintawak as the place where the cry of rebellion happened, in 3 reasons. First reason is many people believes that the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak. These people are Guillermo Masangkay, known as a general, friend of Andres Bonifacio, right-hand man, and the one who approved that the Katipunan is an organization. Identified that the cry happened in Balintawak in the documentary Sources of Philippine History, Volume 8, Manila National Bookstore, 1990, page 307 to 309. And L.T. Olegrillo Diaz identified that the cry happened in Balintawak on August 25, 1896. Teodoro Calao, a Filipino historian, marks the place being Kangkong, Balintawak on the last week of August 1896. Gregorio Saide identified that the cry happened in Balintawak on August 26, 1896. And many people saying that the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak. Second is the evidences that can prove that the cry of rebellion really happened in Balintawak. First is map. Government maps issued in 1956, 1987, and 1990 confirmed the existence of Barangay Bahay Toro but do not define their boundaries. Pugad Lawing is not on any of these maps. According to the government, Balintawak is no longer on the Quezon City but has been replaced by several barangays. Barrio Banlat is now divided into Barangays Tandang Sora and Pasong Tamo. Only Bahay Toro remains intact. Second evidences is comments of the lawyer from Ateneo de Manila University. He said that Pio Valenzuela credibility as less credence due to the fact that Valenzuela gives so many versions from the time he surrendered to the Spanish authorities and make various statements that not compatible with one another. To support the stand, I can leave a quotation from the historian. swore before God and history that everything in this note is truth. By Teodoro Agoncillo. The third evidence is House of Apolonio Samson, which is located to Barrio of Caloocan. The conducting research in the late 1920s by the writer and linguist Sofronio Calderon on the toponym Pugadlawit went through to the municipal records and the census of 1903 and 1918, could not find the name, and concluded that isang pagkakamali ang sabihing mayroong Pugadlawin sa Caloocan. The third reason is the date of this event. Pio Valenzuela believed that the date must be August 23, not August 26. But in every year, we are celebrating August 26, which is the people believe to Guillermo Masangkay that the cry of rebellion happened on August 26 in Balintawak.
My name is Rita Mae Gisulga from Group 4. Due to the different accounts and sources regarding the date and place where the cry of rebellion happened, it caused confusion to the readers, especially for the people who are interested in history. There are 4 places that have been identified, which are Balintawak, Kangkong, Pugadlawin, and Bahay Toro. But based on my research and sources that I've read, the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak. Pio Valenzuela, close associate of Andres Bonifacio and a high member of Katipunan, signed testimony before Spanish interrogators dated September 1896. He stated that the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak on August 26, 1896. Although he changed his stand about the date and the venue where the cry of rebellion happened, it will not change the fact that he first mentioned Balintawak as the place where the cry of rebellion happened. That for me just added to the information that I've gathered. It means that there's something really happened in Balintawak for him to mention it in the interrogation. And according to Guillermo Masangkay, one of the original member of the Katipunan, a general and a friend of Andres Bonifacio, stated that the revolution happened in Balintawak at the house of Apolonio Samson on August 26, 1896, wherein the board of directors held a meeting for the date of uprising, 9 o'clock in the morning. But some Katipuneros opposed to starting the revolution early, so Bonifacio went out and talked to the people waiting outside. He told the people that the leaders were arguing and appealed to them in a fiery speech, which the people replied and shouted, "Revolt as one." Bonifacio then asked them to destroy their cedula as part of a sign that they were to revolt. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Spaniards were coming to them as their organization was discovered, and right there while retreating, the first battle occurred. Lieutenant Olegario Diaz of the Spanish Civil Guards also wrote that the event happened in Balintawak, which corroborates the accounts of the historian Gregorio Zarde and Teodoro Calao that also wrote that the event happened in Balintawak in the last days of August, based on the handwritten notes of Julio Nakpil, another Bonifacio associate and composer of the Katipunan. He wrote that it happened in Kangkong, which is also part of Balintawak. Generally speaking, and based on the evidences I have said, the place where the cry of rebellion happened is pointing at one place, and it is Balintawak.
Good day, I'm Myles Bajado from BSBA1E, Group 4. Here my stand and reason on our topic, where did the cry of rebellion happen? My stand is the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak. Here are my reasons. Reason number 1. The cry was on August 26 and not on any other day. Reason number 2. Don Vicente Samson is the one who witnessed the event. All the information he shared is accurate with Masangkay. Reason number 3. Dr. Borromeo Weller proved on his novel that the cry could not take place anywhere other than Balintawak.
Ang Until this day, many questions and controversies remain behind the first cry of the revolution. This is also due to the lack of evidences and opinions that surrounds it. For me, I believe that the cry happened in Balintawak. Why? I'll give you some reasons why Balintawak is considered as the place of the cry. First, the people of the Balintawak was the one that initiated the revolution against the Spaniards. Second, the revolution was always traditionally held to have occurred in the area of Balintawak, which was distinct from Caloocan and Diliman. Third, Guillermo Masangkay explanatory statement matches the statement of the civil guard who were also present at that time.
I am Alexandrea Simborio, Group 4. The Cry of Rebellion on August 1896 is the event where they declared the rebellion against the Spanish colonial government. With the controversies in the identification of the date and places where the cry happened, I think the first cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak at the house of Apollonia Samson. Based on my research, I can support my stand with a few reasons. Reason number 1. I think Guillermo Masangkay's account is more credible among the others. Guillermo Masangkay is one of the generals of the Katipunan, a friend and a personal advisor of Bonifacio, the president of the revolution. That's why I can say that his accounts are credible based on his relation with the Katipunan. Masangkay said that there was a meeting held on August 26, 1896 in Balintawak at the house of Apollonia Samson, one of the captains of the revolution. The Katipunan are having difficulties at that time. That's why Bonifacio talked to the people outside waiting for them. And that moment is where the people agreed to the revolution and shouted, "Revolt!" and they destroyed their cedulas at the same time. The meeting turned into a celebration of the Katipuneros for the start of the revolution. Masangkay's account is reliable because he clearly described the clothes worn by Bonifacio at that time, which indicates that his attention is on that event. Another reason is the writer of the Katipunan. Julio Nakpil, the second husband of Gregoria de Jesus, is the one who personally led his accounts on the Philippine Revolution International Library under Teodoro M. Calao in 1925. On his account that, I quote, "swear before God and before history that everything in this note is the truth. The revolution started in Balintawak in the last days of August 1896. End of the quote. On August 22, 1896, the Sangguniang of Magdalo received a letter from Andres Bonifacio on Balintawak. The letter says that an important meeting will be held on August 26, 1896. The meeting will happen together with the feast of San Bartolome Malabon. August 23, from Caloocan, Bonifacio and his men went to Balintawak. On the next day, August 24, the group of Bonifacio was attacked by the Guardia Civil, where they surrendered and returned to their hide places. August 26, there was a meeting held about the plan that they will do to the rebellion. After the meeting, the agreement was delivered immediately to the Manila, Cavite, Nueva Ecija, and other provinces for the Katipuneros to know their plan to attack the Spaniards on August 30, 1896. These different accounts from different historians seems like maybe their tactics to mislead the Spaniards on their plan of revolt. That's why many places are mentioned in different accounts. This remarkable event in our history is indeed a significant event that we should know, especially the younger generations, because this mourns the day of our independence as a Filipino.
For me, cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak. Many say the 4 places mentioned are only one, and it is in the Balintawak. Perhaps, in old age, they have forgotten the places and dates where the cry of rebellion actually took place. But we cannot say that it is really here because we are not in the place where it happened. Based on what I watched on YouTube, many say it happened in Balintawak. The teacher stated that because of the debate and discussion of the Katipuneros, they probably went to many places. So, the historians say that this is where the cry of rebellion took place. But he also stated, as I said, we cannot say which is true because almost of them gave places and dates.
For me, the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak. Reason number 1, contrary to the claims of Pia Valenzuela, the book of Celedad Romeo Buller, the cry of Balintawak revealed that the cry of Pugadlawin was just a mere tale of history. Written in this book were the claims of Pio Valenzuela, the Valenzuela 1896 statements, stating that the cry happened in Balintawak before he changed the location into Pugadlawin. Reason number 2, according to National Commission for Culture and Arts, NCCA, the cry of Pugadlawin is not acceptable as the location of the cry because it lacks supporting details and evidences. Lastly, reason number 3, it also revealed that Pugadlawin place is never exist, unlike Caloocan, Balintawak, Banlat, and Pasong Kamal. Even in the old Spanish and American maps, you can never see a Pugadlawin place. And lastly, Pugadlawin was never recognized as a place in the Philippine map before the World War II took place.
Good day everyone, my name is Richelle Mae Pangan from Group 4 and I'm going to discuss where did the cry of rebellion happen. The major reason of El Grito de Rebellion or Unang Sigaw was to end colonialism and to have democracy for them, to start a new life as independent people. The cry of rebellion in the Philippines happened in August 1896 at northeast of Manila. Given the month and date, there were a lot of people regarding the day when did it really happen. Proposed date were between 23 to 26 of August. When it comes to the settings of where did it happen, two major places have been identified, calling it Cry of Pugadlawin and Cry of Balintawak. Julio Aguinaldo was the one who handled the hymno Balintawak to inspire the renewed struggle after the back of Biak na Battlefield. A monument to the heroes of 1896 was built in what we call Epifanio de los Santos or EDSA Avenue. Start 1962 until now, the Cry of Balintawak celebrated every August 26 here in the Philippines.
Different dates and places of the cry. Various accounts of the cry give different dates and places. A Guardia Civil, Lieutenant Olegario Diaz, identified the cry to have happened in Balintawak on August 25, 1896. Teodoro Calao, Filipino historian, marks the place to be in Kangkong, Balintawak in the last week of August 1896. Santiago Alvarez, a Katipunero and son of Mariano Alvarez, the leader of Magdiwang faction in Cavite, put the cry in Bahay Toro in Quezon City on August 24, 1896. Pio Valenzuela, known Katipunero and privy to many events concerning the Katipunan, stated that the cry happened in Pugadlawin on August 23, 1896. Historian Gregorio Saide identified the cry to have happened in Balintawak on August 26, 1896, while Teodoro Agoncillo put it at Pugadlawin on August 23, 1896, according to statements by Pio Valenzuela. Research by historians Milagro Guerrero, Emmanuel Encarnacion, and Ramon Villegas claimed that the event took place in Tandansora's barn in Gulod, Barangay Banlat, Quezon City on August 24, 1896.
Pleasant day everyone, I'm Myles Bajado from BSBA1E. I will discuss to all of you about Guillermo Masangkay's The Cry of Balintawak. In the topic of where did the cry of rebellion happen? Before that, Let us know first who is Guillermo Masangkay. General Guillermo Masangkay is one of the members of the Katipunan. He also a childhood friend of Andres Bonifacio. He was born on June 25, 1867 at Manila, Philippines. According to Guillermo Masangkay, the rally of the Philippine Revolution happened on 26th of August, year 1896 at Balintawak. There was a big meeting held at Antonio Samson's house, Cabeza of Balintawak in Caloocan. Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, Aguedo del Rosario, Tomas Remedio, Brisillo Pantas, Teodoro Plata, Pio Valenzuela, Enrique Pacheco, and Francisco Carrion are present on that meeting. They are all leaders of the Katipunan and board of directors of the organization. The delegates from Bulacan, Cabanatuan, Cavite, and Moro was also present. The meeting was opened by Andres Bonifacio at 9 o'clock in the morning, while Emilio Jacinto acted as secretary on that meeting with the agenda of when the uprising would take place. Teodoro Plata, Brisillo Pantas, and Pio Valenzuela opposed the idea for the rebellion for them. Bonifacio lost the discussion and he talked all the people who were waiting the result of the meeting. That's the part 1 of Guillermo Masangkay's account. Thank you.
As for the continuation of Guillermo Masangkay accounts of the cry, these accounts also contribute to our understanding of the cry that happened in Balintawak. So after Andres Bonifacio left the session hall and talked to the people that are waiting outside for the answers, he told them that the leaders were arguing against starting the revolution early and appealed to them in a fiery speech in which he said, "You remember the fate of our countrymen who were shot in Bagong Bayan? Should we return now the towns? The Spaniards will only shoot us. Our organization have been discovered and we are all marked men. If we don't start the uprising, the Spaniards will get us anyway. What then do you say? Revolt!" The people shouted as well. So Bonifacio then asked the people to give a pledge that they were to revolt. He told them that since the side of the slavery of the Filipinos were the cedula tax that charged each citizen, they plan to tear those cedulas. If it is true that you are ready to revolt, I want to see you destroy your cedulas. It will be a sign that all of us have declared our severance from the Spaniards. Bonifacio said to his men. With tears in their eyes, the people as one man pulled out their cedulas and tore them into pieces. It was the beginning of the formal declaration of the separation from Spanish rule. Long live the Philippine Republic! The cry of the people. So after that Bonifacio's intense and convincing speech, everyone destroyed their cedulas to symbolize the defiance towards the Spain and together raised the cry of revolt. So that was the statement of one of the eyewitness accounts of Guillermo Masangkay.
According to Pio Valenzuela's account, the first place of the refuge of Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, Procopio Bonifacio, Teodoro Plata, Aguedo del Rosario, and myself was Balintawak, the first 5 arriving there on August 19 and I on August 20, 1896. And the yard of Apolonio Samson at Kangkong. Aside from the people mentioned, among those who were there were Bishop Pantas, Alejandro Santiago, Ramon Bernardo, Apolonio Samson, and others.
Here, views were only exchanged and no resolution was debated or adopted. It was at Bugadlawin, the house, storehouse, and yard of Juan Ramos, son of Melchor Aquino, where over 1,000 members of the Katipunan met and carried out considerable debate and discussion on August 23, 1896. The discussion was on whether or not the revolution against the Spanish government should be started on August 29, 1896. After the tumultuous meeting, many of those present tore their cedula certificates and shouted, "Long live the Philippines." In this article of Pio Valenzuela, he said that higit sa 1,000 miyembro ng Katipunan ang nagpulong at nagsagawa ng debate at talakayan noong Agosto 23, 1896. The discussion was on whether or not the revolution against the Spanish government should be started on August 29, 1896. So sabi dito, kailangan ng magsimula ang revolusyon laban sa Spanish government sa Agosto 29, 1896. Matapos ang kanilang pagpupulong, marami sa mga naroon ang pinunit ang kanilang mga sedula at sumigaw ng mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
This case study discusses one of the unfinished debate in the history, the exact location of the cry of rebellion. The different location of rebellion brought confusion to the people, especially that the claims are from the witnesses of the cry, and most of the claims contradict each other information. The four major locations where the cry took place were in Kangkong, Balintawak, Pugadlawin, and in Bahay Toro. Pio Valenzuela, one of the Katipunero and privy to many events, told the Spanish investigator that the cry of rebellion happened in Balintawak, August 26, 1896. But later on, after writing his Memoirs of Revolution, he changed it by claiming that the cry of rebellion took place in Pugadlawin on August 23, 1896. This change resulted in inconsistency of the information he stated on the article. One of the highlights of his claim was the moment when every Katipunero turned their cedula and hailed for the freedom of the Philippines, and this took place in Pugadlawin. Along with the investigation and analyzing the events, on the 26th day of August, a meeting was supposed to happen where Bonifacio, Jacinto, De Rosario, Remigio, Pantas, Plata, Valenzuela, Pacheco, at Carrion, the leaders of Katipuneros in different places in the Philippines, were the attendees. Due to the sense of losing, Bonifacio left the meeting and gathered the people outside and asked them to tear their cedulas as a sign of cutting their connection with Spaniards. This part of the document expressed that this is the reason why there was a lot of places, because the troops of Bonifacio were always moving from one places to another places to avoid being caught by the Spaniards.